The Meta Quest 2 is the classic example of you don't know what you don't know. Like many people, I was very skeptical of VR experiences. I honestly thought they were overrated, but after trying the Quest 2, I was wrong. Like, I'm hooked on this thing. Playing a shooting game and feeling like Neo from The Matrix, to wielding a lightsaber and being one with the Force, or getting a boxing workout in midday, Quest 2 checks so many boxes for me. It's been out for a couple of years now, but even to this day, it's arguably the best VR platform for people to buy into. And in this video, I'm gonna be talking about my experience, all the good and all the bad from owning a Quest 2 for some time. If you're unfamiliar, the Quest 2 is a virtual reality headset that promises a new world of immersive, personal experiences unlike anything you've done before. They attempt to accomplish this by having you put on a headset that takes over what you see and hear, and you have a pair of controllers to help you navigate that experience. Most notably, video games and fitness activities being the killer apps on this device. You can dive into the whole metaverse thing, into something like Horizon Worlds, but that's definitely at the bottom of the totem pole of things to do on this headset. So before I talk about all of my excellent gaming experiences and all the fun workouts I've had on Quest 2, I wanted to start off this video by talking about what achieves that all for us, which is this headset right here. It is the perfect weight. It's not heavy on your face when you wear it, and I like the white finish a lot. But if you noticed, mine does look different, as I replaced and upgraded the included head strap from Meta to a better one from a company called Bobo VR. It's their M2 Plus head strap, providing extra comfort on your face and head while gaming on this headset. I really like the fact that you get multiple points of adjustment to get the right fit for you and your head. If I was to rate the standard strap from Meta, I would give it like a 7 out of 10 for comfort, but this one from Bobo VR, it brings it to like a 9.5 out of 10. Another upgrade I have to this headset is the audio. The Quest 2 has built-in speakers on both sides that give you 3D positional audio, so it feels like you hear things around you. It sounds decent, but if you actually want a real immersive audio experience, today's video sponsor Soundcore has hooked me up with the first ever made-for-Meta, low-latency, true wireless gaming earbuds known as their Soundcore VR P10. And I actually would not skip ahead if I was you, because these earbuds are no joke. Today, if you try to use AirPods or other wireless Bluetooth earbuds or headphones with the Quest 2, there is a noticeable amount of audio delay and latency. It doesn't work well at all. The Soundcore VR P10s solve that problem with a dedicated 2.4 gigahertz wireless connection achieved with a dongle you plug into the USB-C port. You get fully synchronized audio and video for excellent VR gameplay, and the audio quality is also really good thanks to the built-in 11mm drivers that pump a solid amount of bass. They are IPX4 water resistant, which makes them sweat proof, and you're actually going to sweat a lot on Quest 2, which we'll talk about later in the video. And they have a battery life that lasts up to 6 hours on a single charge. And the coolest part is that they support dual wireless connections between Bluetooth and the dongle. So I can have it connected to my Google Pixel 7 Pro via Bluetooth and my Quest 2 via the dongle at the same time. While I'm fully immersed into the game that I'm playing on the Quest 2 with those earbuds, if I do receive a phone call, it's gonna ring into my earbuds and I can answer it from my Pixel 7 Pro at the same time, and it's gonna raise the volume of the caller and actually minimize the volume of the game that I'm playing. That way I can take the phone call without having to pause the game that I'm playing. Another really cool thing is that the dongle supports pass-through charging. So while it's connected to my Quest 2, I can still charge it as the USB-C port is made available. And if you own a PS5 or a PC or a Nintendo Switch, these earbuds and the dongle work on those platforms and achieve the same great low latency, high quality audio experience that you would get on the Quest 2. And suppose you do have multiple dongles, one connected to the Quest 2 and one connected to the PS5. In that case, you can instantly switch between the devices within the Soundcore app. Click the links at the top of the description down below to pick up a pair of Soundcore VR P10 earbuds today. Thank you so much, Soundcore, for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so I just want to be clear on something. I know I'm talking a lot about upgrades to this headset that I'm doing, and the Quest 2 isn't exactly the cheapest thing to buy. It costs quite a bit of money, as they actually recently raised the price back in August, but I don't really see that as a knock or a con of the Quest 2 that I'm trying to change it a lot. I actually think that it's a good thing that Meta allows you to make changes and upgrades to your headset over time to help you improve your experience. It sort of saves you the hassle and the money to buy a whole new headset in the future when you can just make the one that you got even better than it already is out of the box. It's part of why I like the Quest 2 so much. It's fully customizable to the exact experience that you are trying to have. Okay, so now let's talk about these controllers here. These are like your virtual reality hands into all the experiences that you're gonna have. You get thumbsticks, buttons, and triggers on both controllers that feel good and work as intended. The ring on the controller is how the headset can track your movements. It houses infrared LEDs that the headset is constantly tracking. And as you've noticed, my controllers also look a little bit different. I paid for some upgrades here to improve my controller experience. I added a grip that has a hand strap. It's handy as I can let go of the controller without it falling out of my hands if I'm in a cutscene in a game, or if my hands just get tired for a moment. And I also have protection on the ring of the controller itself. It's an extra bumper in case my controller flies out of my hand and goes into the wall or the TV. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I have read online a ton of horror stories of people's controllers just like flying like out of their hands. So if it does happen to me one day, I am protected. And unfortunately, replacement controllers from Meta do cost quite a bit of money, so I just wanted to take the measures to ensure that the ones I have don't break. Okay, now I want to talk about all the fun stuff, the gaming, the awesome VR workouts, everything that has got me hooked and addicted to Quest 2. Okay, so I just want to be clear on one thing. You cannot understand how fun VR is unless you try it for yourself. Like I said earlier, you don't know what you don't know, but let's dive into some of my favorite gaming experiences thus far. Beat Saber is a ton of fun. It comes bundled with the Quest 2 now if you buy it in stores, and it's hands down one of the best games on the platform that has me always coming back for more. I can't tell you how satisfying it is to chop blocks to a beat of high energy songs. It's also a reliable way to raise your heart rate and get light exercise in. Superhot VR is also another fantastic game. If you've ever watched The Matrix, you feel like Neo in here as you slowly dodge bullets left and right as you take out enemies with your weapons. This game surprisingly raises your heart rate given how much I squat, dodge, and move to fight the enemies. Pistol Whip is another rhythm game that I arguably think is better than Beat Saber and Superhot VR. It's a first-person shooter that takes you through a cinematic sequence of you gunning down enemies to high-energy soundtracks as the ultimate action hero. There is so much going on in this game at once that at greater difficulties, you will be drenched from sweating and at an extremely high heart rate. Vader Immortal is also really fun as well. It's a 3-part episodic series, and it's not a long game by any means. You can beat each episode in one long gaming session, but it doesn't take away from the fact that for the first time, you get close to knowing what it feels like to actually wield the lightsaber and attack life-size enemies. It's a really unique experience that I probably won't ever forget. Supernatural VR is a killer fitness app that I'm currently hooked on. It's similar to Beat Saber, except these are intentionally designed to be productive workouts. I'm currently hooked on their shadow boxing workouts. They have popular songs that are relevant and out today, and they're constantly adding new content every week. I woke up sore the next day after doing a boxing workout, which is something that I cannot say about the other VR games I've played. If it's not already obvious, I have a huge preference to like rhythm games and fitness games on the Quest 2, but don't let that confuse you with that being the only games available on this platform. There are a ton of other awesome games in different genres that you can play, like Iron Man VR, Bone Labs, Among Us. The list is quite extensive. There are games for everyone on here to enjoy. Okay, so although my Quest 2 experience has been awesome, there are a couple of downsides that I think I should bring to the table in this video. The first one being motion sickness. I do experience it if I play for too long, and I try to limit my play time from anywhere between 30 to 60 minutes. You might not experience this, and you might be able to play for hours on end at a time like a lot of people can, but for me personally, I just couldn't. I get nauseous. I almost wanted to throw up, I think, a couple of times. So you have to be kind of careful when you dive into Quest 2. Just make sure that you're playing a right amount for your body. The battery life on the Quest 2 is also around 2 to 3 hours of playtime. That's perfectly fine for me as I don't really game that long on the Quest 2. I'm more of like a casual gamer, but I know a lot of people love to play games for hours at a time. So I'd recommend picking up a battery pack extension that you can attach to your headset so you can play the game for more extended periods of time. Also, this condo that I live in, it's an okay size, except the fact that it's really long and really narrow. So there isn't much width for me to set up my Guardian scale. I play in the living room here, and because of my TV, desk setup, camera setup, kitchen island, Christmas tree, yeah, there's a lot going on here in this living space. So I have to set up my Guardian scale in a way where there's a bit of clearance to make sure I don't like just punch the camera here by accident or punch the TV there by accident. And that sort of takes away from the experience personally, because I always have to be so careful. I can't just let loose completely while I'm in a VR experience. I do want to be clear though that the Quest 2 does do an excellent job of warning you, as it accurately knows your surroundings. And it is very unlikely that I will punch something because of how good the Guardian scale works. But again, like, I still feel overly cautious, and there's no debate about being in a huge space that the VR experience would just be more fun in there, and I'm jealous of all of you that can do that. Okay, so if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, is that if you don't own a Quest 2, this video still isn't enough to highlight just how fun it is. You don't know what you don't know. And unless you try this at a friend's house or you try this for yourself for the first time, you can never fully grasp how fun VR experiences are on the Quest 2. And that works in Meta's favor, to be honest. You have to buy the thing to understand the thing. And while that is scary to our wallets, I'd bet that once you do buy a Quest 2 and you try it for the first time and you boot up your first game, you're not gonna regret your purchase. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to drop a like down below if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're brand new to my channel, and check out my latest video right here, and I'll catch all of you guys in the next one. Peace.